Hello everybody and welcome back to another grammar lesson with Mrs. D. Today we are talking about possession and we are talking about using an apostrophe to show ownership in a noun and how we punctuate that. So let's take a few quick notes. So this will all be review for you. You should know this from elementary school. Singular means one. Plural means more than one. We normally add an S to form the plural of nouns, right? One hat, but many hats. And we will add an apostrophe to show possession. So that punctuation mark, that apostrophe, shows that a noun owns something. Okay, so how do I know if I need an apostrophe? A lot of people just like to throw in apostrophes. But there's a very specific instance of when you should use an apostrophe in a noun. Let's take a look. To see if you need to make a possessive, turn the phrase around and make it an of the phrase. For example, the boy's hat. If you can turn it around and you can say the hat of the boy, then you need an apostrophe. So the boy's hat, we could turn that around and say the hat of the boy. Now we would never talk like that. It sounds a little bit funny. But if it makes sense when you turn it around like that, that's how you know when you need an apostrophe. Likewise, if we would say the journey of 3 days, we would say 3 days journey. And now here's a weird one because it's weird to think that the days own the journey, right? That's an odd phrasing. But anytime you have, since this makes sense, the journey of 3 days, right? That's how you know you need an apostrophe. Anytime you have last night's homework, next week's test, you would say the test of next week, the homework from last night. Then you would use an apostrophe. So yes, the night owns the homework, but because we can turn it around and make it an of the phrase, then you need an apostrophe. And you'll notice I keep going like this. I always like to think of it as an apostrophe shows ownership, right? So how do I know if I need an apostrophe? If you own it. You had no idea that I was so cool. I know I look like a grammar geek, and I am, but if you own it, you need an apostrophe. How do I form the possessive? Let's keep going. If a singular noun owns something, so one noun, you're going to add apostrophe S. That's the easiest one. Apostrophe S every single time. So the owner's car, you would do O-W-N-E-R apostrophe S. You'll notice right here, even if the noun ends in S. So if it's James' hat, J-A-M-E-S apostrophe S. Now, you will see it spelled like that without the S at the end and just apostrophe. Both are grammatically correct. Once again, the grammar gods hate us and want to make our life hard. But here's what I will say about that. So yes, both of these are correct. For me, if I can apply a blanket rule to something and there's never any exceptions, like it's always, always, always apostrophe S, that's what I'm going to go with, right? Because then I don't even have to think about it. So if it's one noun that owns something, I'm going to add apostrophe S every single time. That's just me. Like I said, if it ends in S and you want to remember this kind of little exception, totally fine. But for me, if I know I'm never going to be wrong by adding apostrophe S, that's where I'm going to go. Go to page 2. Try these, the bottle of the baby. So one baby's bottle, you would write B-A-B-Y apostrophe S. One baby's bottle, add apostrophe S every single time. The roof of the house, you would say the house's roof. H-O-U-S-E apostrophe S. The strength of the athlete's strength. A-T-H-L-E-T-E apostrophe S. I didn't change any spellings. I didn't add any weird S's anywhere. I simply took the noun baby, house, athlete, added apostrophe S. There's your simplest one, okay? Number 2. If a plural noun owns something, meaning many nouns own something, and it does not end in S, you're going to add apostrophe S. For instance, Geese. We have one goose, but many geese. Geese is a plural noun that doesn't end in S, right? So we would say the geese, G-E-E-S-E, plural noun. The rule tells us add apostrophe S. Same thing with children. Children is a plural noun that doesn't end in S. The rule tells us add apostrophe S. So first form the plural, children, then add apostrophe S. Okay, so that's for any noun that is plural and doesn't end in S, like geese, children, deer, sheep. How do I form the plural possessive of a plural noun that does end in S? Simply add apostrophe. Simply add apostrophe. So if we have a plural noun like cats, C-A-T-S, it already ends in S. First I form the plural, then I form the possessive, C-A-T-S apostrophe. 3 friends letters. Friends is a plural noun that already ends in S. Friends, S apostrophe. The country's laws. There's a plural noun, countries. It already ends in S apostrophe. Okay, so first form the plural, then form the possessive. The notes of all the students notes. S-T-U-D-E-N-T-S, there's your plural. Now we have to make them own the notes, apostrophe. The leaves of all the trees leaves, T-R-E-E-S. First we make the plural, now we make them own it, apostrophe. And finally, the shoes of the boys, B-O-Y-S, is your plural form of the noun. Now we make them own it, apostrophe. Rule number 3. A compound noun. Anytime we have my brother-in-law, a compound noun like that, it's awkward to say my brothers-in-laws, right? How do we form that? Simply add an apostrophe S to the end. So we would have my brother-in-laws, apostrophe S, money. Brother, hyphenated in, law, add apostrophe S, brother-in-law's money. Here's one I see a lot. Add apostrophe S to the last noun to show joint possession of an object. So Todd and Ann's apartment. Let's say Todd and Ann own this together. You would add apostrophe S to the last noun, right? They own it together, Todd and Ann's, apostrophe S, apartment. Now if I'm saying, Mrs. Laganya and I's project, Mrs. Laganya and my's project. It's always awkward, right? Mrs. Laganya and my project. We joint ownership. We're going to use that possessive pronoun for my, okay? So in additional uses, we also use an apostrophe for a contraction, right? For can't or cannot, for doesn't, do not, does not, would have, would have. But in this unit, we're specifically talking about apostrophes, okay? Specifically for possession, when you own something, right? So if you see me in the hall, ask me if I own it, and I'll give you 10 bonus points. How about that? Thanks, guys. See you later.